Action.
All right, welcome everybody. Today I'm blessed with Dr. Jamie Parker and John Zhu. I'm Steve, the commissioner of the JP League. This is the first episode of our podcast. We're just going to keep it an open conversation. We just had week one of the JP League start, first ever, league game since the pandemic. They used to run the league here, but I took over and we finally got it approved. I thought it was a good first week. I mean, so far so good on the league. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for being here. I just want to keep this open conversation between us. So let's just forget there's a camera here and a whole crew and Hollywood stars in the background. So what are your thoughts on the league so far?
Number one.
Yeah.
I don't know why they call him John Zhu and I'm the animal. That's number one. All right. But it was good. It was good to see everybody out there.
Who called you the animal?
Who's the animal? You're the animal?
You ain't know?
Ain't nobody ever called you the animal.
I've never heard that nickname.
I said I'm an animal.
An animal.
Not
You're an
the
animal.
animal.
You're like
Yeah.
one of the animals in the kingdom. Okay.
But you're talking about who other people call you, not your.
No,
not
I said
how you
I'm
define
the
yourself.
animal.
Yeah, that's how you define yourself. Like, he's talking about how other people.
Like on the court, or
address
like in like the hallway, or like,
I don't really
in the
listen.
food court?
I don't listen to what they saying out there.
Yeah.
Right? I don't listen.
Okay. Don't listen to the noise.
Yeah.
Stay
Weren't
focused.
you listening to
Yeah.
about how Sean was the number one pick week one?
I heard that. There's some things
So you
I
do
hear.
listen to
The sonar pick up what it want to hear. You know what I
You
mean?
selectively choose.
No, the sonar picks it up. I don't choose the sonar.
Oh, you got sonar in
Yeah.
your brain?
Talking about the draft, actually, going back to the draft, you're a captain. John, you were drafted in the first or second round. It's a high value pick right here. You were fourth pick, right? Fourth pick, and you went with Max. So what was going through your mind when you're drafting that team? Like, how did you envision all right, I'm gonna play defense and Max is gonna bring up the ball? Like, what's going on there?
A lot of people just tried to down talk Max.
Okay.
And I'm not saying no name, but they just say he doesn't pass the ball, stuff like that. But I tried to explain to them that Max will not pass the ball to somebody he doesn't trust. Because a lot of people just shoot to shoot. A lot of people out there for fun, and so a lot of us are out there to win, right? So I think, me and Max share that philosophy of winning, and I think it's about building trust with your players. And luckily, he trusts me enough to want to, play with me.
That's I really respect that. You're definitely one of the few people that come to mind who take this extremely seriously, and I respect that. Just trying to win. What's this story I heard about a 2-hour Zoom meeting with your team before game one? Let's hear more about that.
Yeah, I mean, so there's some teams that been running practices. You one of them. My man Steven running practices, 3-4 hour drills. People say, "Yo,
That is true. That is
yeah,
true.
you know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
He ran
That's a
3,
fact.
4, 5 practices
Back to back.
Yeah,
Over and over.
Yeah, so.
Let's not talk about practice. Let's talk about the Zoom meeting. Let's talk about the Zoom meeting.
Okay, Iverson, we ain't talking about practice today. So I hadn't connected with my team the whole time. We didn't talk through the group message. I really wanted to see who would initiate the full conversation. I didn't want to be the one to do it. I was trying to look for a leader. I don't always want to have to be the one to lead. I don't always want to have to be the one to talk. Sometimes you want somebody else to pick up the pieces. So that's what I was looking for. I didn't get it. I had to do it, right? Set it up the day before. It should have been done sooner, right? You don't wait till the day before game to have a chat.
Right.
So, but it happened. It was necessary, trying to clear some things up, some misconceptions. There's people who play ball regularly, people who don't, and you need to fill those gaps in with philosophy.
So who stepped up in this leadership role that you were trying to set up for your team? Like who besides you, the vocal leader? Who's next in line? Who was talking in the Zoom meeting? What was being discussed there?
I would say X, was vocal. Wilson was vocal about a few things. Max had a lot more to talk about than I really thought he would, and I was really proud of him for that. Justin had some thoughts.
Wow.
But I would say Max and X just talked a lot, and I was glad to hear different philosophies come from different people.
I like what you're doing with your team, John. What's going on with the JP Animals? Are you doing any sort of 2-hour Zoom meetings with your team?
Well, definitely not. Some of us are always prepared, and some people have to get prepared. Jamie, Doctor over here, he said he did mention that winning is a philosophy, but for me, it's a way of life. You know, so it's by naturally just comes.
When we look back at the tape, I don't, winning
It's just one of
philosophy.
those
I didn't
things,
put those words together. Don't try to. We got video evidence, buddy.
You know, for some people, you got to think about it all the time and try to become a winning team or a winning player. But for myself and our team, it was just a way of life. We all dogs. We all already.
Hence the name
100%.
JV Animals.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the team name that John Barry, team captain of John Zoo's team? What do you think of that team name? Is it fitting?
Oh, I love it.
You love it?
We all animals. We all dogs. Every single player on our team, up and down the roster, can play defense, can't get scored on, communicate effectively, and you saw it. We held the other team to the fewest amount of points week one.
Yeah.
I would probably take every one of my team as probably first team all defense.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Decisive victory with the last 24 seconds. John Zoo over here had the ball. He saw a chance to score, and he hit the game 30-30 tie game, and John hit the game-deciding shot at the three-point line from top of the key. That was a really big moment for you. I saw you post on Instagram like 5 times, and it was rolling through. And everyone's giving you the comment. What was going through your head like during that shot?
I would say I actually in that moment thought we were up 1.
You thought you were up 1?
I thought my mentality was like, let me just ice the game completely so the game's over.
Wow.
Because I didn't want them to get another possession because there was 30 seconds left on the clock, so they were getting another possession.
Yeah.
And at the time we were kind of struggling. John got injured. We had some people out. And the game was very low scoring, so sometimes you just gotta make that shot. And like I said earlier, some people gotta get up, some people gotta put a lot of work into that mentality.
Yeah.
Other people.
Is that starting from your morning routine every day? Like, is this something you tell yourself in the mirror, like, I need to get up and I need to get out there and today's a winning philosophy type day. Is that?
Yeah, I think it's a mentality that you gotta carry. But sometimes when you haven't won a lot of things in life, or historically in basketball, or just generally speaking, like potentially Jamie over here, like you gotta like really go out of your way to try and win some stuff.
So let me clarify something.
The other thing.
Let me clarify something. Anytime you try to throw a jab, make sure you use Dr. Parker. Any other time when you talking regular, you can say jab. When you try to throw a jab, use Dr. Parker. That's all I ask.
It's not a jab.
No, it was a jab. It was a jab. We can ask the audience. It was a jab. Just use Dr. Parker. That's all I ask.
Dr. Parker, how many league championships do you have in your
How many league championships?
The last one I played in New York, we won. And I stopped playing because they gave us a book bag and a t-shirt or hoodie.
Got it.
I said, yo, I'm not doing this no more. I think
So you didn't even get a trophy, is what you're saying?
I was like, yo, I'm not doing this no more.
Damn.
Yeah. So it was one of them urban league, urban something. What was that? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Jamie,
I was
I
like,
didn't want to show you
worth
this
it.
though. You know what this is right here?
You see it now? You see what I'm talking about? He's talking about taking it
I didn't bring this
seriously.
to the podcast, guys.
You
This
so
is one
he's
of those
talking about
things
taking
This is one of those things where it's like it's one of those things where I got
when
this.
you playing 6 of them
And
a
I don't
year,
know
you
if
better
you
win a
ever
trophy.
got-
You playing 6 of them a year.
Jamie just actually admitted he never won one of these before. I just want the audience to understand.
No, I won.
This
You
is
just didn't give out
certification.
trophy.
This is certification right here.
Listen.
Right here.
When you're playing 6 leagues, you gotta win one, yo.
6 leagues.
You playing 6 leagues a
One
year.
league. One league.
You playing 6 leagues a year.
I win every league. I've been.
Going back into
I haven't not lost. I haven't not won the championship one time.
No, that's a lie.
Winning is a way of life.
You,
I never.
so you
lost.
won every
time. Every time. I've been. Ask Steve. We won back to back.
We have one back to back. John spin facts. He has a current team in this season. We're both looking. I mean, our team is currently looking a little shaky, so we have to pull things together. But I mean, what John's saying is true. But hey,
So
Can't
I
win
just want to
forever.
put this right here. This is one of those things where I already got it. It's already off my back, but
I don't know
Jamie,
where
maybe
you
you
got
can
it.
get one of
I
these
don't know
one
where you
day.
got it.
I hope you can get
possibly
one of these
somehow
at a
took
certain
that from my
point
closet.
in your life. But
I don't know how he stole that from me. I was holding on to that, but I don't know how.
Also, they only get
I
one
found it
trophy
in
for
my
the whole
apartment.
team.
I found it in my apartment.
See, that's
But anyway, let's take a step back. The whole winning thing is great. I love winning
I
too.
want to touch on. I talked to the person who was guarding on this.
Who's
game
guarding
winning-
John in the game-winning shot?
Stan. I spoke to him.
Stan Green, Stanimal.
Yeah. Everybody likes this animal word. I don't know why. It's useless to me.
Yeah.
Didn't you
Guys,
say
this
that?
guy-
Didn't you say that earlier in the podcast? You said it.
Only when it applies. Only when it applies.
So
Right? Only when it applies.
So it applies to you? It applies to you?
Yes. You know, but like
I
I
thought
was
you were
saying,
me o'clock.
it's always my time. You know, but I enjoy other spaces as well.
So you got multiple
know what I'm saying?
nicknames?
There you go.
Got
But like I was saying, so Stan was guarding you, and I was in my head, I was like, why did they put Stan on John? Right? Like, you know, Stan, I love you, but like, I don't know why. That was just a bad. And Stan said, yeah, I guarded him most of the game. I'm like, well, I've seen John score 5 straight. Won't you think that's a good time to switch? I think they must have, team you played against must have been poorly coached. You know, they were poorly coached. After you scored the first 5, and that was with like 5 minutes left. You scored 5 points. Then you were down by 2. You scored 5. You know, I get to see the ending, but you know, it made no sense. It was poorly coached.
Are you saying you see me as a threat?
I see you better than I see you. I don't see the reason why Stan would have been guarding you. And another reason is, you know, we didn't need to hit a game winner because we was up by 12. So there's a difference between winning.
You ever hit a
and
game
winning.
winner before?
You know the answer.
I'm just asking.
You know the answer to that.
What's the answer? I
You know the
generally don't know the
answer
answer.
to
Let's shift the pivot a little bit to Jamie's game. We got to hear a little bit about John's game-winning experience. Congratulations on the win in the first
Appreciate
week.
it.
Yeah, but then going to Jamie's game, which was the 3rd game of the night against Jacob's team. I can't even pronounce his name. It's so long. It's like 404 page error versus me o'clock, right?
Oh, right.
So here's what I recall. Starting off the game hot, Jamie's bringing up the ball top of the key, hits a 3, boom, starts talking his jet, like starts jawing off at the other team, like, you know what I do, and then second shot, brings it up, shoots another 3, classic, and he's like, you know what I do, this is what I do. I love it, you know, starting off the game hot, but from there, you know, I see things slow down, you know, defense is really focusing on you. What do you do to get back into the game if you're not scoring?
I mean, so when I spoke to Max, you know, and Max came to me and he said, you know, Jamie, you know, I want you to pick me up, right? Mm-hmm. That's what Max came to me. So me hearing that, yeah, and I think he told you that too. And so for a man to communicate with another man and say, I want to play on your team, he's saying he trusts me, right? And so I respected and appreciated that, and thank you, Max, for communicating that with me. So for him to trust me now, I have to trust him the same way, right? Y'all know me, y'all see me play, y'all know I always basically run the point, right? Mm-hmm. Even before we started, I was running the point. I came in, hit 2 threes out the gate.
Yeah.
Max comes in now because Max wasn't there for the first 8 minutes.
Came right out of class, by the way.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened with that?
Yeah, so he was coming out of class.
Sometimes.
He came late, so he wasn't there for like the first 8 minutes. So I'm running it. So now I'm lost a little bit because I'm expecting him to be there, you know. But I'm fine because I'm used to running the point. Anyway, he comes in the game, and now it's like I'm not in control anymore, right? Because I promised him, listen, this is you. The offense is yours, right? I'm a fall back. I'm a focus on the defense, right? So then, like Steve said, I went away, right? I basically stopped shooting, and so for me, I'm not used to that, and that's an adjustment that I have to make, you know, in being off the ball. I don't mind doing it because I trust Max enough to run the point.
So let's pause real quick. So Max came up to you and said, Jamie, I want to play for your team. So would you do that with any other player? Let's say Stan, you know, who you just talked about, said, Jamie, I really like your game, and I really want to play for you. I want you to pick me up. What's the situation there?
So I really rock with Stan. I had thought about picking Stan up, but I actually got text messages from teammates asking me not to pick Stan up.
Not to pick Stan up?
Yeah,
wow, let me hear more about that.
And I'm like, I didn't even know people was watching the draft. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking, you know, it's us kicking it. And they asked me not to pick him up.
Okay. So there was active communication.
Yeah.
You started the group form. You started picking people like, you're in the group chat now. I just picked you up. You're in the group chat now.
I know. I didn't even know how people got my number, really. I didn't have their number before. I was like, who's this? I didn't know, you know. I didn't know.
Wait, multiple people do this?
Wow. Nah, they must have, I don't, you know.
Oh, this is the middle of the draft.
Yeah, in the middle.
Wow.
I was just like, oh yeah, I'm picking, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, so because this is stuff I spoke to Stan about it already. Because Stan came in, you know, coaching me, and he was looking at me like, He's like, Jake, you forgot something. I said, no, bro, I didn't. My team actually had a conversation, text me, you know. Yeah, so that's how that happened.
All right, well,
Can I ask a question? Would you have picked Max with the 4th pick if he didn't come up and say that to you?
Most
Like,
likely.
were you thinking about picking him already at the time,
Yeah.
or was it a decision
Yeah,
because he made that?
if you were the first pick, would you still pick Max, or would you see anyone else that you would like to pick up in the draft?
If I had first pick,
Yeah, like first pick was Sean, right? He was picked up by Jacob. Would you have picked up someone like Sean, or?
if Max had came to me and said what he said, I probably would have chose Max.
Okay.
But
Fair enough.
if had he not said that, it would have been a toss up between Max and Sean.
Max and Sean.
Yeah, but because he was man enough to communicate that with me, because it takes a strong person to say, hey, you know, let's do this. You do this. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't know anybody else that said I want to play with you, pick me up, right? You know.
Yeah, John. What do you think about his decision on Max? You think that's a good pickup for him?
I think that Jamie did a good job of roster construction.
Uh-huh.
You know, I think from a GM standpoint,
Yeah.
like strictly GM standpoint,
Uh-huh.
that's probably one of his strengths as overall, you know, a captain of the team, because he plays basketball here a lot and he has a good general basketball IQ, and he knows that only certain people can play with him and mesh well with him, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that are not gonna are gonna butt heads with him, right? Because he's
Right.
a very alpha type A personality that's gonna be like talking a lot. And so if you have a personality where that's something you struggle with, you're probably not going to do well on a league team with him. So he had to pick certain players that like fit his mold and his style of play that he wanted to be on. And we'll see if that works. I think it was the right pick for him, you know, because, you know, Max is relatively young and he's going to listen to Jamie, and he wanted to listen to Jamie in that situation.
But I mean, who else do you think was a better pick than Max in that? Like, who would you have picked instead of Max? If
No, I didn't. That's what I said. I think he's a good pick.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a good pick. I think you made.
No, but
I think you made good decisions throughout the draft for your team, but I don't think you picked the best player available every time. I think you picked the best players that would play well with you, which is actually a good like trait to have in certain situations.
that,
you know?
right?
So like,
Yeah, because some people aren't gonna listen. You know, like
Yeah.
it's just some people who you tell them, hey, go closer, and they back up. And they like, well, I thought it was a better idea. You like, you know.
well, I mean, and that's what I've been trying to tell you over the past like few months is like your communication style can deter a lot of people when they play with you. So like sometimes you got to adjust your communication style to make it so that the team plays better. At the end of the day, it's a 5-on-5 team game. You know, it's not just about yourself and me a clock on the back of your shirt sometimes. You know, or me a clock on your watch.
Where does this communication style come from? Like, let's talk about that. Let's take a step back. Let's go into the life of Jamie Parker here. You're 10 years old playing basketball. Were you always this vocal leader like that we see? Like, has something happened? Like, your coach?
You know what it is. Coaching and playing ball in the Bronx. You know, there's a lot of good players, and because in New York we don't have a lot of indoor courts, you don't get to play ball a lot.
Right.
So in the summertime, you finally get a chance to play. You know, you gotta be the best in order to stay on.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're younger, you also understand that you have to be good enough to stay on the court. When the big boys come, you gotta get off. And sometimes people in other spaces don't embody that philosophy. Also, I played, organized basketball from like 11 or 12 to like 19 straight. Right, in tournaments literally every year, traveling different places, different cities, whatever. And, so I was always in the back of my ear, had a coach in my ear. And so even when I play ball now, like if there's a fast break, I'll chase down, even if it's my player that's running down the court with an open, I'm running with him, right? There's just certain things I understand. And to see people who don't have that background, sometimes it becomes difficult to play with them. But to go back to your question, I became more vocal because I broke my toe when I was 19 or 18 or 19. And I was about to play.
How'd you break it?
I think I had got frostbite playing paintball.
What?
Well, no.
Frostbite
You got frostbite and broke your toe?
Yeah, so I got frostbite and I played ball in some foam posits and I broke my toe.
Playing paintball?
No. So I caught frostbite playing paintball. But then I was playing basketball at the gym in foam posits and I broke my toe.
Wow.
And so from then I was supposed to play college ball for school. and I couldn't.
Which school?
Lehman in the Bronx, and
Is
so
that D1?
nah, D3. And I couldn't play. So from then, you know, my feet were limited because they would get tired quick because I was injured. So then, you know, I started taking the game more seriously because if you lose, you can't play, right? And so from then, you know, and then I also know what it's like to not be able to play. So my time, my feet, my legs, my life is precious. I take it more seriously. So I'm like, I don't know how many games I got left in me. I'm like, and if I lose, I gotta sit 3-4 games. I don't want to sit, and because now you messing up my day, you messing up my time, you messing up my money, right? Because now if I win 3-4 straight and lose the 5th, I can leave, right? But if I lose the first one, then I gotta wait 20-40 minutes. Then I lose the second. Now I'm here 2-3 hours, and I ain't getting really nothing done. So for me, I want to finish quicker than I don't. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Did you change your game ever since you kind of got that injury? It sounds like it was very pivotal in your life and in your basketball career. Did you play a certain way, or you always played the same way?
Always.
Okay.
Yeah.
John, how would you describe Jamie's gameplay? Like, how does he play out there? Like, describe him as like a player.
I think he's, you know, holding on to what he's always wanted in the past, but it sounds like the dog that he got inside. I'll give that to him. He plays a lot of heart.
Yeah.
He plays a lot of passion for the game, and I can respect that, because if I'm gonna play basketball and show up and put my time on the court, it doesn't matter if I'm friends with you off the court. It doesn't matter like what's going on in my life, what's off the life. I'm taking the game seriously once we lay sticks.
What happens on the court is on the court.
It's on the court, right?
And off the court, whatever.
Yeah, so when Jamie's on the court, he's playing the hardest out of anybody on the court every single time. And you know, some people can get disrupted by that or feel a type of way about that, but I respect him for that. And so knowing his history and his injury past, I think he was injured last year too, right? You said you were injured.
Oh yeah, that's right. I hadn't played ball for 3 years. When I first played Clemson Tongs, I hadn't played ball for 3 years.
Oh wow.
And I re-injured it and didn't play ball for like 3 months.
What did you hurt?
That time it was on my ankle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, for ankle for like 3 years.
Suck,
I didn't
man.
play.
All right, so that his style is like that hustle, play your hardest, like I'm a dog, type of mentality.
I think he has a good mentality.
Yeah.
But I think something that holds him back is not getting the most out of his teammates. Because in reality, he usually defaults to asking people to play one-on-one all the time.
Okay.
That's what they found.
But it's a team
game,
sport,
right?
Team sport.
And oftentimes the criticism from teammates that play with him is that like he's not helping engage and uplifting the rest of his team, right? And that's something that like, you know, we'll see over the course of the season how that plays out. But I think he has it within himself too. You know, he's clearly a leader in his personal life, and I think that that's something he's capable of doing. It's just a matter of if he's able to extract everything out of his team.
I've heard some feedback, whispers in the hallway of JP, and some guys saying you like to redirect some of the blame on the team. You know, not my words. You know, just things I've heard. Get back on D, or whose man is that? Who's guarding you? Shoot it like you want to make it. You know, like. What's going through your mind like that? Is that your way to motivate your team, or is that your way to, you know?
I mean, you know, sometimes for me, I just like people to do something well.
Show
I truly don't care what it is. If you want to hustle hard on offense and, you know, hustle hard on defense, but the hardest thing for me is when people aren't doing either one. And my whole thing is just pick one well, or just give me your hardest, right? I used to play ball at this 168. And, you know, I would take some 60-year-old men, because even though they wouldn't be able to move fast, they would be trying their hardest. And when people aren't putting effort in or are just giving up, it affects me. And I can't be affected, right? Like, as much as we want to act like energy doesn't permeate me, you know, whatever, like, it's contagious at times. And I need to see people's heads that. So I don't even mind if people get upset with me. But I need to see some type of life. I need to feel life.
Okay.
You know?
I respect that. Let's take a step back and let's go back to the draft. You know, the draft was very interesting. It was live stream on Instagram Live. You know, they got to hear. We had 8 captains in a room, just raw talking about who they're gonna pick, why they're gonna pick them. When a pick comes up, John Barry's like, "Who the fuck is this?" There's a lot of that. There's just so many variables in this draft because half of the players you might have played with on a regular basis, and half of them you might not have even seen them. You don't even know they live here, right? So I know you're not a captain, John. Did you tune in for the draft at all?
A little bit.
Okay, so
once he got picked, he stopped watching.
Were you involved in the draft process once you knew you were picked? Did you know when you got picked?
I actually didn't. I was at some event at the time.
Yeah.
But I tried tuning in when I could, but it was hard to hear.
And you found out about it later.
I felt like some people were texting me that I got picked, and I was like, oh, okay, that's good.
But then overall, you got to see where the players were drafted, like where they fell, right? Like round 2, round 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so you saw all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? And Jamie, you know about it obviously as a captain. What do you think? Who do you think was the biggest steal of the draft? Like in terms of like their value, in terms of the round. Like what do you think is the biggest steal? Like out of all the teams, you're like, oh my god, like how's this player still here?
Nah, nobody.
Nobody.
I think everybody, kind of like John was saying, like just kind of either didn't know the person, or didn't think that they would mesh well with them. Like it was kind of one of the two.
And not even just talking about the first 2 rounds. Let's talk about even the later rounds. Like, there's some guys that like nobody knows, but they picked him up, and he's actually like really good. Like, there's nobody that comes into mind in that terms.
Because I don't really recall when they got drafted.
Right.
But one guy, Danny.
Danny,
yeah. He seems.
Do you know what team? Do you know what team he's on?
No.
Okay.
No, but Danny.
Guys.
Yeah, He was like, I'm a sleeper. He was sitting inside, I saw him playing. So I'm a sleeper. They're sleeping on me. I'm like, shut up. But he's running. He's actually hustling. I'm like, okay.
Wait, describe Danny.
I thought. Slim. He got hairy arms.
Hairy arms. Is he
Hair
white or
comes out the
Asian?
ear. White, yeah.
Oh, Dimitri.
Dimitri,
Dimitri, guys.
Close enough.
The soccer player, Dimitri, Danny,
yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know you were.
But I also don't know when he got picked up.
I believe he got picked up in the 7th round by Ethan's team.
Yeah.
Yep. The Long Island City School of Dentistry.
Yeah.
So that team. All right. So the sleepers over there. John, what are your thoughts? Have you had a chance to look at the chart and take a look at any sleepers that you thought like, wow, how's this guy still available? Like,
I mean, aside from myself.
Aside from yourself, like second round, way too
I could
late
have
for
picked
you
him
to
over
get picked up.
earlier, but
Yeah.
as to anyone else, I don't want to really comment on someone else because,
But yeah,
I think the draft doesn't really define who you are anymore.
No, it definitely doesn't. It definitely does not.
You know what I mean? It's about like how you elevate your team, knowing you're standing on a team and what the end result's going to be anyways. So like, I'm sure everyone to an extent feels like they were picked lower than they probably should have. But that's why it's not really about where you get picked in the draft. It's about how you go and play for the rest of the season. So we'll see.
Okay. Any teams so far right now impressing you in terms of the season? Like, besides your own team, like anyone else?
I was actually surprised that John's team won without John B. and France.
John B. is the captain. France was the first pick of JPM.
Then didn't the second player for y'all wasn't there, or was he there? No, you would have said okay.
We had Edwards out too.
Edwards, yeah. I was
you didn't have Eddie.
We didn't have Eddie.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I was surprised that y'all won, but also their big man got injured too.
Oh,
but
Chris.
his was more second round, so I was surprised. But like I said, the other team is poorly.
You're surprised because you didn't think that.
I didn't think without those 3 players that y'all would beat that team. With I don't know how many of them were there.
They seem like they had a full roster. To be fair, I mean, I agree with Jamie. I was surprised that you guys really pulled a really good win with what you guys were limited with what you had.
Yeah.
You were pretty much bringing on the offense. What was going on in the timeouts? Like, what are you talking? Who's talking right now? Who's leading the team? I know you are definitely one of the leaders, but who else is stepping up, John?
Well, I mean, I think John was still a great vocal leader.
John B. He was injured, but he was still there. Yeah.
I think Odie's a great player. Peng's a great shooter, role player. Kenneth is actually speaking up a lot. And other people, like, they just know the role in our team well.
Uh-huh.
And, the way that John drafted the team is, like, we're just going to play really good defense,
Yeah.
first and foremost. And like I said, we held them to 30 points, though. So top to bottom, we're going to play really good defense.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, it's just about surviving the game, you know?
Yeah.
Like that way that we just won the game, it's probably how we're going to win most of the games we win.
Grind,
you know?
gritty.
It's grit and grind
Yeah.
to the max.
Getting
And
sweaty, bruised up.
especially when we're down guys, and
Yeah.
like, you know, we're struggling to score. It's like sometimes it's just about who wants it more at the very end.
Yeah, no, I mean, very impressive win. Huge win for you guys being limited to missing 3 key players. So yeah, John, I asked Jamie this question, is there any teams that besides your own that kind of, stood out to you, impressed you, or you want to talk about,
I think Jamie's team it was impressive. Seeing them beat Sean's team the way that they did, without really reaching even their full potential yet, was nice to see.
Didn't even hit their
watching
stride.
them, it was like, he's got his shooters, he's got his role players. They're fitting in well, they're meshing in well, and Jamie's playing good defense. So I would say that they're definitely the team to beat right now. They're definitely the top dog.
did you watch that whole game between Jacob's team and Jamie's team?
I did.
What'd you think about Jacob's team? What do you think they're missing? Jacob had the first pick. Sean, he was their first pick, and you would think someone with his size and athleticism and talent, they would have a much better performance.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I think sounds like both of us in referencing is like heart when you play. Like,
So Sean has no heart.
I don't think that they don't have heart.
Okay.
It's not to speak about anything specifically there, but generally speaking about the team, it did feel like there was a lack of intensity and
One team wanted it more than the other.
of wanting to win the game.
Yeah.
And it's felt like that was the case. When we play next week, I tell you the one thing that's not going to happen is we're going to go down playing scared.
Right.
That's the thing that if you're playing on my team, playing on John's team, playing in general on the team that we got, everybody on the team got hurt. So.
Gotcha. No, I respect it. I love that. I mean, if I had half your heart, I'd probably be out there, diving on the floor and getting bruised up and battered. But, at this age, I gotta conserve my body. But hey, we all do what we can out there, right?
You got heart. For the record, Steve, you definitely got heart. For the record, Steve is the one setting up this podcast, this entire league. Everything going on is all Steve right here. That's a credit to
with the
him.
help of everybody, of
Yes.
course. Everyone is just going along with this crazy game.
We gotta have the clapping in the background. After that gets said,
Yeah, where's the background?
it's to the studio audience.
Where's
The studio audience.
Thank you guys, appreciate it. So we talked a little bit about Jamie's team. How does John play? What would you describe him as a player? What's his style of play?
He doesn't really say much.
He don't say much yet.
But
Quiet out there.
Yeah, but he tries hard, and you just can't leave him open.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like you should leave anybody open. But it's somebody who breathes this stuff. The thing he's got edits videos, but he's watching basketball every day. You have to consider guarding him, right? I don't understand. Why
He's studying the tape
he's
all day,
studying.
every
He's
day,
looking at
indirectly.
basketball every day.
Yeah, he's in it.
So to not box him out or to not guard him,
Right.
is
a mistake. Yeah.
Because then he's gonna look around and what to do and
I agree with what you say there, but I disagree with what you say when he's quiet. Because John is, I wouldn't describe him as.
Well, you play with him in league games.
Yeah.
When he's on, playing this, he's not talking like that.
Well,
he's whispering.
He's whispering. That's the thing.
He's
I was about to
whispering.
say.
Yeah, he's whispering.
Cut.
Yeah, but nobody's hearing that. I can hear him, but nobody isn't hearing that. He's whispering.
If you guys play with John, I thought it was always hilarious. John is actually a very strategic player. On the surface, he doesn't seem like he's talking, but he'll come up to somebody this close. Cut, back door, cut.
No, but even when he's at the 3-point line and in the corner,
Yeah.
he's still whispering. I'm like, John, in my head, they can't hear you. Why are you? You know what I mean? Even today we were playing, he was whispering. I'm like, he's like, go that way. And I'm like, John, they can't hear you.
Yeah, okay.
But what happened today? What happened in the last game?
I had a bad team. I had a team who couldn't play defense, and there's been different times. If I have a team that can't play D, I truly don't even want to play. But I played with the team so I could get used to people who don't know how to play well. So when you play with a good team, you don't really take it for granted. You know, because I could have sat out. I seen the guys, and I was like, I never seen these guys before.
Wasn't Max on your team?
No. But if you have weak links, at some point it's going to get exposed.
Max is a weak link?
No, I'm talking about the two other people. So I had two guys trying to, couldn't play D, didn't know when to recover, just certain terminology. And what I've learned recently too is, if you don't have certain vocabulary words in your thought process, your thought process about the space is limited. So if you don't know how to go back door or pick up the open man or whatever, just other terms within basketball, your basketball IQ is going to be shorted, right? And it was shown throughout that game. Guys just trying to do more than they thought they could, losing the ball, shooting the ball. You're not the best player on the court. You're not the first, second, or third option, but you shooting the ball. Why are you doing that, right? Like, people didn't understand their role in the game. And so, but I like to play games like that, to get used to the oddity, of not being on the best team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about best team, let's shift our focus on the players of the league. So we have a lot of good players in the JP League. Who do you think right now? This is really early to really kind of talk about, but who do you think right now at the end of the season will be our scoring leader? Max. Okay, you're confident. You confidently say that. John, who do you think is? And I have the list of the players here. If you want to just take a quick little scan, and we haven't even seen everybody play.
I mean, yeah, it's probably between. I would say, what were the high scorers week one? Jay.
I believe Jay Jung, Max, Andrew Rivera. And I think those three were probably the top three.
Who had the most points?
Scorers.
I mean, is it
How many points did Max have?
I don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah, at least 20. I think Jay had like 20.
How do you mean he played on? How do you mean you didn't
I wasn't looking at everything.
He's on your team. What do you mean you didn't?
So I'm counting the points. All right, he got 6 now. He got 12. What do you think I'm doing?
No, I'm saying you saw him play. You can generally count how much he scored, right?
I was focused on defense.
He's focused.
I think he hit like 6 threes.
6 threes.
I think Max has the highest capacity to score of any player. I think it'll be a question of if Jamie allows him to fully flourish.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't need Max to be the scoring leader, right?
Yeah.
He just wants to win the game sometimes. And maybe some games Max isn't going to be the one that does that. There are some teams, like, for example, Jacob's team, where Sean's going to have to score every single game. Will didn't play week one. I think he's going to score a lot. He always scores a lot. I think even on your team, you need Josh and Andrew to score a lot of points. They're going to do that every single week. So it'll be interesting. I feel like is there going to be a scoring champion at the end of the season? Is that?
Yeah. So there's going to be a scoring champion award similar to that. We'll be giving out trophies. Defensive player. We're going to have an MVP.
Is there only one defensive player?
Yes. There's going to be one defensive player, and then there's going to be an all-star team. But scoring, right? Is that equal? Is that the top category needed to be winning the most valuable player for a team, or what's your thoughts on that? What do you need to be MVP?
There's gonna be scoring leader and MVP, right?
Yeah.
I think they're two different things. I think that take someone like Jamie. He's really valuable to his team, but he's not gonna win most valuable player or the scoring leader because Max is getting that on his team each time. He's deferring to Max every single game. He's probably not going to win that. But, there's other he might win defensive player of the year because he's holding down the anchor, getting blocks and steals. But for someone like Max, he could get the scoring leader but not win MVP of the league because MVP is your all-around game and who's going to lead that entire thing up and down the court. So,
right. Well, whoever brings the most value to your team, right? You need them to win the game. Without them on the court, you're not winning or you're going to be hurt, Right, so I agree. So MVP, there's a little bit of there's a couple factors involved. Scoring is one of them. Obviously, defense is definitely one, and maybe playmaking or just energy off the bench or in the huddles or whatever, right in the locker room, right?
Yeah, and I wanna touch on something. I'm hoping we could get the footage from the gym tape just so we could record the stats. And if we recall, because I was talking to Sean about it yesterday in the pool, and if we recall, because they were saying that Sean's team was a team to beat, right?
Who was saying that?
Who said
Who
that?
said that?
When we were on the captain's meeting, after the draft, Sean had came up, and even though I was saying, yo, you know, no players, like after the teams were picked, Sean came in, right? So I said, you know, so when Jacob and Sean went there, I said, yeah, we have the best team. This is what, and this team, Jay's team and somebody else's team, they said, Jamie, your team is all right, but you guys ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, but to be fair to Sean, his second overall pick wasn't even there that game. That wasn't like the full team. You had your full team.
We didn't have our full team. Cause
I
Max
think
was
Louis.
there.
I think Louis changes that team a little bit around.
We didn't have our full because Max wasn't there for 8 minutes.
Yeah, but Louis wasn't there the whole game.
Xavier's shoe popped in the middle of the game.
Really?
Yeah.
But I'm saying Louis changes that whole team though.
I don't know who Louis is.
He's their ball handler. Like they didn't have someone to set up Sean. If Sean's trying to like go 1-on-1 all the time, that's tough.
Can we pull up?
There's Louis right
Which
there.
one? Which one? Him? He's not a point guard.
No, but he didn't have a point guard on his team, right?
He's not a point
No,
guard.
but who on his team was able to be a point guard? Like,
He's not a point guard. He's a shooter.
yeah, they needed a guard that could shoot the ball, set two people up, have the ball in his hands.
He's not a distributor either. I like him, but he's not.
He makes
he's
a
not
difference though for the team.
He
You don't
makes a
think he
difference. You have to guard him, but
Yeah.
we have to guard everybody.
You don't guard everybody.
You do. That's how I play, right? I don't know how everybody else play. I feel like
Oh, in general you do. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying like not everybody on a team is like you gotta guard.
you got to me. Yeah, I don't care how bad they shoot. So some people can hit 5 threes and you ain't never seen them do it in their life, right? You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes oddities happen. I try to make sure it don't happen when I'm on the court. But like I was saying, anyway, like I was saying before, this is what they were saying, right? Jacob was like, yo, we the best team, whatever. So that's why I went to Steve. I said, yo, put me against them first, please. Because I don't want no more questions. Because another thing that people were saying, like we said in the halls of JP, they said, Jamie, if you was in the draft, you wouldn't have went first. Sean's the best player. This is what I'm hearing in the halls of JP. This is what people coming to tell me.
Yeah, but Max being picked over you too.
Listen, that's why you in the second round, Sean. Right?
Max is going before you.
Listen.
Max is a better player on your own team.
Listen.
You're
Back
not
to
even the
my
best
story.
player on your own team. How are you gonna get picked first overall?
John, back to my story, right? I'm telling the story here. So, this is why I asked to play Sean's team first, right? Because this is all I'm hearing is, Jamie, your team ain't nice. You and Max gonna butt heads,
Who
right?
said that? No
This
one
is
said-
Jacob.
I don't
This is
think
what
anyone said
Jacob.
that.
No, this is what Jacob and them was saying on the captain's meeting, and then other people were saying, you know, other things too.
Okay.
You know, and so that's why I'm like, put me against them first, and that's why during the game, you know, since everybody was hyping Sean up, yo, this top dog, that's why I had to ask if this is your king. Because you look up to Sean. A lot of other people look up to Sean.
What, you talking to me?
Yeah, you
Talking
look
to
up
me?
Sean.
When
you
did
know
you-
what I'm saying? You look up to Sean.
When did I ever look up
You
to
know what I'm
Sean?
saying? So that's why I had to beat on
When
your
did I
big.
ever say that?
That's why I had to beat on your big brother real quick.
When did you
So,
say that?
You know what I'm saying?
Hold on.
So
You look up to Sean because you trying to beat Sean. That's why you got to
What do you
match
mean
up with
trying-
Sean.
no.
You trying to beat Sean. That's what you're
What
saying
you
right
trying-
now.
No, I had to beat
You
him because
trying to beat
everybody was
Sean.
in my ear
Yes, you
saying
wanna
that
beat Sean.
he would have went first. And also, Sean talks shit. Sean says, Jamie, your team is whack. Sean talks shit.
Yeah,
Sean
I'm
and
not saying you
Jacob.
don't talk shit, but I'm just saying you trying to become Sean right now.
What do you mean
That's
become?
why you got to
I beat
ask Steve to go match up against him. So you want to become
No,
Sean.
I hear the chatter. I'm not one of those people who act like I hear this and that. So I asked him, oh, y'all the best. Y'all, all right, put me against them. I'm not
That's
ducking the
the thing.
fade.
I don't matter the chatter. I'm gonna when the game's online. You gotta
Well,
make a shot.
yeah, that's what happened, right? I asked for the alleged best.
So, all right, we're talking about the best teams here, right? Who actually drafted the worst? Like, is there someone that comes into mind when we're talking about the draft?
Steve trying to get us all in trouble with these
drafted
questions.
the worst here. So I have my own personal thoughts, but I would love to hear yours. Jamie, you were there, firsthand witness, and you saw captains choosing their team. Was there anyone like, damn, like why did you pick him? Was there anyone like that just
I think people went emotional
emotional?
as opposed to logical.
Okay. More of they're playing with their heart rather than their mind, right? Like picking. Okay.
But also, like we said, you have to be able to trust the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're your friend and you don't hung out with them, you want to pick them, right? John B picking France first.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind saying names because anybody can see me. We can play one-on-one for
That's
$100, right?
emotional.
That's how I get down. That was
Basketball's a team
emotional.
sport. Basketball's a team sport. It's a
Yeah.
5 o'clock game.
I think Sen picking
Also
Carl
2-2.
first. Because Carl would have been there for him second round.
Uh-huh.
Nobody would have got him in the first round.
Right.
He still would have been there.
Yeah.
Would you have picked France up if you had the chance? I don't know. Right? So I hear John I know how close they are. He wanted to make sure he got him, early. But I think Carl still would have been there.
Okay.
So I would say Sen could have picked somebody better with his first pick.
Yeah.
I don't know who did Ethan pick up.
Who do you think who do you think John should pick with his first pick if it wasn't France?
I
Who should he pick
mean,
to set?
my guy Zach. He should have picked Zach. Zach was or
You
Jay.
think Zach's going before me?
You think you're better than Zach?
You go pick Zach before me? You gonna pick Zach before Josh? Before Andrew? Before Mo? See, that's just what do you do?
But
what do you do week one? How many points do you give you week one?
That's why I was asking for the point scale. I was
I'm
asking for the
asking
point
you.
spread.
So we're
If Zach, I think Zach might have had more than me.
At this rate, I don't know. You might be a mid-round pick, maybe second round pick.
So, going back to what Jamie said, Ethan picked up James as his first round pick.
Oh, that's a good pick.
That's a good pick.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's a very
At
good pick.
7.
I was looking for James.
Looking at
I was
James.
looking for James.
John, do you have any thoughts?
I was looking for
All
James.
right. So Jamie clearly, said there's emotional and then there's logical, right? Do you agree to this? What's your
For
thoughts?
sure. I mean, like, we all live with each other in the same apartment.
Yeah.
Right? We all live here. We play basketball with each other every single week. We're going to see each other around all the time. I don't think it's purely like the NBA draft per se, Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're all at least loosely friends with each other in each other's lives all the time.
So is there one
So,
team
there's
that
dynamics
drafted-
going on. I mean, I don't even think you can fully say you didn't pick emotionally because you picked a couple of your friends that you probably would not have picked if you weren't friends with them, right? I think everybody did that for the most part. I think Steve picked Carl because they're good friends. I think John picked France because they're great friends.
Yeah.
But
they're also great players. I would
They're
say.
good. They're good players too.
players,
But like,
yeah.
you can't replace like how much you want to play with your friends at the end of the day, which is a decision you got to make, and you don't want to risk sometimes not having that guy to rely on.
So what do you think? Do you think? So do you believe that there's a team that drafted like the worst? Would you say like compared to everyone else? Like, is there one team that comes to mind? One or two teams? Do you want me to?
If I had to choose, I would probably say the other Steve, but
Steve C. He went with Carl as his first pick, who unfortunately got injured a week before the.
And he did it. He got injured by stepping on my foot.
Oh yeah! Wow.
It was in a game. It was in a pickup game. But
The unfortunate thing and how it happened, he said, Jamie, I want to walk in your shoes. And he tried to get in my shoes and he hurt his foot.
He said he wanted to walk in your
He
shoes.
wanted to walk in my shoes. Everybody want to walk in my shoes and want to know that.
Everybody want to walk in your shoes? Who else want to walk in your shoes?
What does that mean? Walk in your shoes? Is
Who
that
else
like
wants to do
step
that?
on your toes or like?
Nah,
is
they
that an
just want
insult?
to feel what it's like to
I
be
think
able to hit
they're trying to
you
walk
know.
out of your shoes.
Nah.
I think they're trying to leave
Huh.
presence.
That's the first time I heard that, but
Yeah, I don't think I ever heard of anyone say that.
You're welcome.
I think you say things a lot of times that aren't true just to make yourself seem.
Nah,
like
that's how he hurt himself. Ask him how he hurt himself and see.
I think you're trying to walk in Sean's shoes.
Why you always bringing Sean's name up?
Because you always bring him up.
No,
you say,
nobody
I want to
said
be the
nothing about
first
this
pick. I
man.
need to go play him first.
No,
I need to do that.
this is what the
You
people
bring it
told
up
me.
all the time.
This is what people told me. I'm just bringing to them what I've heard.
all right. So I mean, we talked about all right. So potentially, we kind of see someone who fell behind in the draft in terms of value. Let's rank the teams. Let's take a look at the teams, and let's not count our own. How are we ranking this from the page? Who's looking like the top team? And you cannot what's it called? Put your own team in there. You exclude your team.
Excluding my team.
Yeah. So who's the top 3 teams?
I would say, just off memory. I mean,
There's only week
I can go
one.
first. I can go first if you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
go.
yeah.
I
John.
think
Yeah.
I think Jamie's team right now is the top team.
The top team. Who comes in second and third?
I think Jay's team did a really impressive job. They scored the most points week 1 without their best scorer, so their ceiling is even higher.
Yeah.
how much they scored?
Like
62.
62. They scored
Oh,
the
they
most
beat
points.
Ethan's team?
Beat my team.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So they had even more points than the team that got blew out the other team, right?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah, they scored
that's
a lot of points. And
Like you
there's
said,
a lot
it's
of guys on that team that are very underrated that can score. So
Mm-hmm.
I think they can always score. And then I would probably say I think your team is actually probably the third, besides our own, if I'm not including my own team, because I think Steve is arguably the best captain out of any captain in the draft. So I think the improvement over time and the overall cohesiveness will come together in the future. And he didn't have his full team either. I think that how well you captain a team. See, when someone's like in your position or in Steve's position, you got to be a good GM, a good coach, and a good player. There's 3 different elements to the entire component. I think you are a great GM. I think you're a great player. I think the coaching part is a question mark. I think Steve has all 3 under his belt. That's like pretty solid. I think not everyone has all 3 of those qualities together.
I think
so
it's
like
fair.
you know, the coaching portion is a huge portion of it. You know, the improvement you're going to see in your team over time and how that comes together.
You have to watch some coaching videos, Jamie. You have to catch up. Coach Carter is a really good movie.
Nah, for me, I can't do soft. I can't do
Say it
soft.
how it is. I respect that.
I can't. I can't do it. I was gonna mention something to you.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Your teams. I guess Jay's team. I like Jones' team.
Okay.
I like Jones'
On paper?
team. Yeah, on paper.
If they could just figure it out, they could be a threat, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like your team.
So you would say those are the top 3?
Oh, we said top 3.
Yeah, we're talking about the top 3, and then we're gonna talk about who's the worst 3 in the league as well.
Steve always with who's the worst question.
Yeah, if we're talking about the best, who's the worst? We have to know.
Yeah, I would say Joan, Jay, and then y'all, both of y'all teams for the tie.
For the tie.
Not in any particular order, but like
Jones in the top 2?
No. I'm just saying that's why I said no particular order.
He's just saying these 3 or 4 teams.
How is Jordan above us when we just won?
No, that's why I said in no
So
particular.
it's a close game. He's saying that you guys it was very close. It could have gone either way. He's probably saying, and then it's
like I said, if the other team was better coached, y'all wouldn't.
Yeah, but that's not changing.
No.
Coaching changing at this point in the game.
I'm hoping we could get the video so we could see the.
I don't know if you want to see the video
So
because you might be leading the league in turnovers right now. I don't know if you want to see the video stats.
2 turnovers?
You traveled 4 times.
Video will be available next
You
week.
traveled 4
Two
times.
turnovers.
You traveled 4 times.
No, it was 2.
No, it was 4 times.
It wasn't 4 travels.
There was a couple travels, but hey, I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't
Couples also
count,
full.
keep track. We're not keeping track here.
Oh yeah, you know what I meant to talk to you about? That's what you said. There will be one playoff game, but one playoff game will make sense.
So
You see what I'm saying? You realize it later? Or?
no. So
Yeah.
everyone is guaranteed a playoff game.
Right.
So obviously 8 teams, right? So let's say you're the 1st seed and I'm the 8th seed. We play each other. The winner advances to the semifinals.
Yes, but that's not what we talked about earlier. You said it's one.
Everybody is guaranteed one playoff game, at least one playoff game.
Right.
So the key word is at least one.
See, listening. You gotta listen.
No, that's okay. I didn't make it clear. I gotta make it
It's
clear.
clear.
No. Then you said
I
the
understand.
championship, and I was like, that wasn't the championship. Don't come after that.
Right,
with 8
right,
teams.
of course.
So see, I was listening.
There's-
Let me
There
ask
you
you,
go.
can I ask you a question,
There you
Jamie?
go.
Would you rather win the MVP or win the league championship?
Championship.
Same. I would
Okay.
rather than that.
Yeah, championship.
Yeah.
Would you rather win Defensive Player of the Year or MVP?
Championship. I don't care
No,
nothing
no.
about.
Just defend that other side. You definitely care because you literally said last week you win a Defensive Player of the Year. You said that last week. You can't tell me you don't care.
So, MVP.
MVP.
Yeah.
You think you got a shot at winning MVP?
After I beat you, I don't want no more questions after that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't want no more thinking. I want it known, right?
No.
Sean, there was questions about Sean and Jacob, they being the best. Answered that. Now you think you the best apparently.
When did I say
Answer
that? When did I say that?
So
When
pause.
I
Oh,
just
you
said,
talking spicy?
I just
Yeah.
said you were the best team.
No,
When did I say
no.
that? I
you
literally
said
just said you the best team.
Earlier, you said we're gonna beat you next week.
I never said that.
John,
In fact, we won't lose next week.
as long as you know.
Yeah.
So we talked about the best teams, and then we had a lot of talk about Sean, but none of you guys said Sean was his Jacob's team. Sean and Jacob's team were.
They don't have enough offense.
They're not enough offense.
They don't have enough offense.
So let's go to one of your teams that you mentioned. You said Jones' team. Let's look at his roster. We got Joan, Stan, Anag, Tony, Jared, Nate, Chris, Rob, and Andy. Do you know all those players?
Yeah.
John, you know all those players?
Yeah.
So Jamie, you said they were a top team. John, you didn't mention them. Why do you think they're a top team? What's going on with that roster? What stands out to you?
I mean, does Joan have Mo? Or no, Joan has Jared, right?
Joan has Jared. Yep.
Okay. I mean,
Here's their roster.
yeah. I mean, they're just a fast team. This is a generally fast team. You know, it depends. The question is, can Chris stay healthy?
Okay.
You know,
He's a big factor. He's the X factor of that
if
team.
Chris can stay healthy,
If you were the coach of that team, what adjustments would you make for them?
I didn't really get to see their game. I don't know if, and also I don't know if Joan needs goggles because, like I said, anytime he plays, you know, say like nah, like let me tell you, like I don't know if Joan like can see without his glasses.
What does he need?
Them goggles, whatever they are. I don't know, glasses, goggles, you know, but he needs something because I've never seen him play basketball recreationally without glasses.
Tell him what you said in the group chat when.
So Joan tried to act like he wasn't taking the game seriously. And that man's face he was sweating, no glasses, never seen him without his glasses.
You were sweating drafting?
No.
What were we talking about?
Yeah, remember, I don't know if you seen the group chat, Joan said something like, yeah, I wasn't taking the game seriously. I wasn't playing seriously, whatever.
And then Jamie comes in and says, Joan, don't lie, you were playing for your life out there. I ain't never seen you play without your glasses.
Yeah.
So something along those lines.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. So
I agree.
Joan was playing. So I think Joan needs to get those prescription glasses, and then that would help the team. Because if he's out there and can't see the rim,
Right.
You would tell me to get prescription glasses.
But it helps to see.
yeah, I think that would really help them.
All right.
Yeah.
John, so you mentioned Jay's team, and who else did you mention? So let's talk about Jay's team. We haven't really talked to them about, much. Taking a look at their roster, like what makes you think they're such a strong team?
I think they can shoot the ball the best on any team.
From like the three?
From three, so they can probably score the best.
Uh-huh.
Like I would expect them to have the highest points scored in the season. It's a question of availability for them.
Yeah.
But I think Jay. Actually, I said you were the best captain. I think you and Jay are probably the two best captains. I think Jay maximizes his team's potential very well, and he strategizes very well for his team. I think the 2-3 threw you guys off well the first week, and you guys struggled against that, adjusting to that. So I think that like his team surprised me because their center Kenny is a really good shooter. Mo can always give you like 15-20 points a game easily. Will can give you 15 to 20. Jay can give you 15 to 20. So it's gonna be hard for them to stop collectively because if you're an individual defensive team, it's gonna be tough to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
But even his bench players surprised me. I've never seen some of his bench players.
Yeah.
And they all were like
playing
very well, hustling.
Yep.
So the entire roster up and down.
When
Even
you
Ocean had the biggest applause in week 1.
that was a fan favorite for
He's a
sure.
fan favorite. He got the crowd
Ocean
standing
coming
on
into
his
the
feet.
game.
What did he do?
Pumping up the crowd.
He looked like the mayor. out
Checked
there.
in, he started pumping up the crowd, and
Yeah.
everyone started cheering. It was a moment.
He just needed to score and it would have been over.
Oh yeah.
The game would have been over. But we're talking about defense and locking up. When do you guys play each other?
Next week.
Next week.
We've
So,
been talking about it all week.
so
It's hard to
John,
tell.
you hit the game winner this week, you know, in a tie game with 10 seconds left, you know, and John has the ball. You know, Jamie, is that the man you're guarding right here? This person?
Who else they got? They got John B. They got France.
They have Eddie, Odie, Pang, Kenneth, Idris, Garrett.
A few of those players I'm not even worried about.
Mhm.
You know, them with the ball.
Ain't no problem. Okay.
Yeah. But I think everybody has to be guarded.
Okay.
You know, I trust my team to guard anybody.
Let's say John's bringing up the ball with 10 seconds left. It's a tie
This
game.
John or this John?
This John right here.
Okay.
Who's locking him up? Are you locking him up?
Anybody can. I mean,
Anybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Would
mean,
you
there's
put your
some-
worst
there's-
defender on him?
No,
No.
that's silly. You know what I mean? For me, that'd be silly. Like, you know, I love my players, but some of them will not get any playing time unless they understand how to play defense.
Mhm.
Right? Like, I'm not here to just be out here. Oh, hey, you get some run. No, you have to understand the mentality around defense.
Is that why Hanif didn't show up week 1?
Wait, Hanif's on your team?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much playing time are you giving him? Like, what's the situation with the playing time? Like, let's say you have 10 people on the roster.
You in the G League now?
He's in the G League. He's on a 2-way contract.
Yeah.
He's
then
got to prove himself.
What's he got to do to be able to get bumped up to the starting roster?
What does Hanif need to work on?
Everything.
Hanif, you heard from here, your coach.
Everything.
You got to work on everything, man. Better see the gym.
Yeah, no, I think what was interesting, what I love about Hanif is that he understands that he's not at his potential, right? He said, man, I'm good with a minute or two a game. He said, I'm good on defense, right? Like, so he understands that he's not there.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
Okay, yeah. That's respect.
But, because I'd rather that than somebody who thinks that they could bring the ball up the court and get it stolen 3 or 4 times.
Right.
Ego is a thing with some players in the league for sure. Jamie, very vocal leader out there, very strong, very hustle mentality. John, do you think there's anything that rattles him?
There's a lot that rattles him.
I
think when the pressure's on, he tends to crumble. I think that I've never actually seen him hit a game-winning shot when the game actually matters. I think that he tends to over-project when he feels confident he's going to win, but when he's not confident he's going to win, he's like, oh, I might just leave, or I need to question that. So we'll see. I think Jamie, I honestly think that you have a lot of potential, but I think that you got a lot to prove still as well. So we'll see next week.
So improving, right? Like you said, I have a lot to prove. A lot to prove to who?
Well, I think you've been demonstrating that you think you need to prove something to people. That's why you keep asking me to play Sean week 1. That's why you're trying to create storylines with me to play me next week. Because it's like
I'm creating a storyline. I didn't ask to play you next week. I didn't ask to play you with next week.
Yeah, but I walk into the gym. See, you know what happened? Actually, this is interesting. So me and Jamie, I thought we had a pretty good relationship. I've let him work out with me from time to time. I've trained him before. I'm kind of stronger than him in the gym, so from time to time I let him work in with me, right? Now that we're playing with each other this week, right after you play Sean, I walk in and immediately it's crickets. He's not even talking to me. He's not even acknowledging my presence in the gym no more. And then all of a sudden, Justin walks in, his own teammate, and immediately he's walking right past me. He's grabbing Justin, and they got to start training right away. They got to start working out with each other right away. So you can already tell in his head, he's already thinking about the entire dynamic of how do I make my team better? I'm worried about playing them next week. I gotta not talk to John. There's this entire dynamic that his entire mentality is already switched up.
Okay.
Since previously. For me, I like Jamie. Like I said, I think he's a good player. I think he's got a good team. I think they're the team to beat.
Okay.
But it doesn't change the way that I approach the way that I talk to people. We're just playing a league game. It's not like the Super Bowl that I gotta win here. I'm not gonna not talk to you in the gym or not acknowledge your presence.
So let me touch on that.
Actions all starting to change.
So let me touch on that. So first off, me and Justin happen to bump into each other. John sees us talking.
No, I was there before Justin. I
didn't see you there.
No, but I was there before this.
I didn't see you.
Yeah, you did see me.
I didn't see you.
I walked in to say hi with you when you were talking to Stan.
Oh, that was Stan. You're right, that was Stan.
Yeah, so you
right.
did see me.
No, yeah, you're right, that was Stan.
Yeah.
I knew I was talking to somebody.
That is correct that I was talking.
But then while Stan was there, Justin came in. So it was never
Stan left, and then there's a good 10 minutes, and then Justin came in.
Yeah. I think that might be true. I don't. But Stan was walking around, so Stan was walking back and forth. He never really left.
I guess the bottom line is, are you avoiding John in the gym now that you know?
I think John took a picture of me and Justin and sent it to the team. That's what I think.
I think it's funny.
I think
I did.
Wait, see?
I did.
Come on. Am I not observant?
No, I think it's funny that you gotta change your entire.
No, but he's over there taking pictures of us.
That's after
right? Come on, he's over here taking pictures. I'm looking at that camera roll. You see me and Justin.
I find it hilarious. Your entire mentality.
Come on.
How many times has
So who's
Jamie
worried
been in
about
the
who?
gym?
If he's taking pictures of us in the gym, who's worried about who? Who's worried about who?
You worried about me. That's why you're not.
You just said you got pictures of me in the camera roll.
Yeah, because I think it's
Yeah,
funny.
exactly.
I'm not worried about you. I just think it's funny that you gotta change your entire mentality.
So you got pictures in your camera of people you don't want to
Videos, not pictures. Videos.
You got videos of us? Come on, John. Let's go, John.
I
Now I don't know what type of video.
I take videos all the time.
I don't know what type of stuff you got in there, but you know, golly, yeah.
And the craziest part is I can out-talk Jamie too. Jamie's a good talker, but I can out-talk him. That's the craziest part of all this.
Listen, number one.
See, look at how much you projected. You gotta stand up straight. You gotta get up on the shoulders.
Listen. Number one, because I didn't know it was true. I didn't know you'd admit it. Number one, that you took pictures and video of us that day. You know what I'm saying?
You already know.
We see that. Justin was like,
I wanted you to know. I didn't just hide it. I wanted you to know.
He was behind the machine like this, tried to sneak it over. Like
no, I walked over from where I was directly in front of them, took a video in front of them like this.
He makes it seem like
so you could see it.
He makes it
was
seem
not
like
hidden at all.
See, he makes it like he was this close. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Yo, he was.
I'll take that video right there.
I swear, he was like 25, 30 feet away.
You remember when you at the beginning of the conversation said, "Oh, I didn't even see that you were there." I thought you didn't even see that I was there the whole time.
No,
and now you already had to switch up your entire conversation.
No, I was talking to Stan. I thought I was talking to Justin. I didn't realize, but I realized he didn't come and talk to Stan because Stan was guarding him, so I guess he felt some type of way. You know what I mean? But Stan was telling me the story about, the game that he was guarding. I was like, that was stupid. I told him, I said, you shouldn't have been guarding him. I told Stan that. I said, you shouldn't have been guarding him. John knows too much about basketball. Right? You might think this is not an interest, it's a compliment. John knows too much about basketball. Stan, you don't know enough about basketball to be guarding John.
So now we're friendly rivals ever since the league started. What separates the pickup basketball and league basketball? What's the difference, guys? Because we changed this whole dynamic of a game, and all of a sudden we become friends from Saturday afternoon basketball, and now we're training in the gym and it's constant competition. What changed? What's the difference between league basketball time versus Saturday afternoon basketball with the boys?
I mean, like John was saying, I take every game serious.
Okay.
Right? Like, there's not a game where I'm going to take off. If I'm going to take off the game mentally, I'm not even going to play.
You think I take every game serious?
If you're playing me, you do. You know what I'm saying? If it's anybody else, I think you're nonchalant. I think whatever happens, happens. I think when I'm on the court, you really prefer not to lose. Right? Because I'm going to tell you about yourself. And I'll say that. Right? Yeah.
So is it just like having referees and like the video and the crowd? Like what's separating it's
no, it's not a difference. I mean, because unfortunately we don't have video. We have some video, but if y'all did see the video, you would see that I played the exact same way.
Right.
I do every day.
Yeah.
I'm talking
like
to the crowd. I mean, I'm gonna have some turnovers, one or two. I'm also gonna have 3-pointers. I'm also gonna have assists. I'm also gonna play good D, blocking people's shots. I'm also gonna talk to the crowd, right? I mean,
no, I give you that. I think that you play the game similarly, but I think you gotta make some adjustments too. Like, I don't think you were like as aggressive.
I
didn't see you go down low. I didn't see you score down low one time.
I didn't shoot. I barely once.
But that's not how
came
you
in
play
the
pickup.
I agree. That's why I was saying I have to make an adjustment because I'm not used to trusting someone enough to relinquish the offense.
Yeah.
Right? That takes a lot of trust from me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna make it to just here. Right. So, and I'm not used to trusting someone that much. But I'm just glad that he proved that he was trustworthy. Because sometimes you could trust somebody and they just missing every shot. And you're like, man, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, there's people like that.
John, you see any difference between the league dynamic versus like?
I think that I don't think you know this, but I tend to have an aggressive defensive personality when I play. And I tend to use up all my fouls a lot.
Yeah, you were in foul trouble. I remember a play. I was like, I'm on the table and I'm trying to look out for John. I'm like, John, 4. It's like, oh, I'm good. Yeah. So what's?
So I actually thought we fouled at 6. I didn't realize that you fouled at 5. Mm-hmm. But I think that's an adjustment where you can just. It's what Jamie does a lot, when you follow someone and pick up, and it doesn't matter.
Right.
Just not lose the game.
Okay, so there's a big difference.
But
there.
in these games, you're fouling out if you foul out.
So when you say Jamie does a lot of fouls, how many people did you hit in the throat today? I know you hit Steve in the throat once. You hit Myers, the player, in the throat.
You want to pull the league and see who thinks fouls more?
I mean, no, I'm just asking.
Who do you think public perception wise? Who do you think fouls more between you and me? I'm not saying I don't foul out, but I just don't think it's more.
I think you hit harder, right? And you hit where it hurts, right? You hit right there. That's what you hit Steve today.
I think that's a one time.
You didn't even say sorry. You didn't even say sorry.
Steve's cool. Steve and I are always cool.
But you didn't say sorry for it though.
We in the heat of the moment playing the game.
Yeah.
You didn't
We
say
can
sorry. All I said
I'm
was
gonna
you didn't say
in the
sorry.
middle of the game. You ever say sorry? When do you ever say sorry? You said
I think
sorry
it was about
before?
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years
Last
ago
time
before
I
you
said
moved into JP.
sorry. Nah,
Yeah, exactly. I never heard you say sorry one time.
Cause I ain't hit nobody around you.
You never hit nobody? I seen you give Sean a bloody nose and a bloody tooth in the same game.
He put his face in the way, if I recall.
So now it's his fault.
No. But that day, and I told Sean about that day. I said, Sean, I knew I was about to foul you, and I didn't feel good about it. Because I had a team. That's a hard thing when you have a team that doesn't understand the defensive mentality. Now you have to recover and you have to give a foul. And I felt bad about giving a foul, but I told Sean that he's taller than he thinks or whatever. So when you reach in, and now he's reaching up for it. He might get hit because your arm is right here, so you're trying to reach up. And I said that's what happens sometimes. But
I think listen, I'm not saying I don't foul a lot. I definitely am a guilty culprit, but I just don't think I'm the leading cause of that. I think that generally speaking, people collectively say that that's cheating.
Do you guys think the refs were fair? Do you guys think they were good?
I think they were new. I think they need to get used to how people play. They were doing the best they could.
Yeah. Overall, what would you give them out of 10? Like the ref?
Well, that's not a good question to ask Jamie because we already know that he was trying to bring his own refs in. Like, how is that going to be a fair question?
So you're bringing your own refs in. Jamie, walk us through the suggestion you brought up. So I think as a commissioner, I was in charge of hiring the referees, and I get a question on our WhatsApp chat saying, who hired the refs? Like, how's this process made? I have a recommendation. Jamie, let's talk about what was your recommendation?
I mean, it was just more so, because sometimes people are going to gravitate toward who's paying them, right? So like,
do you believe that's the situation in our league? After the week 1 experience, did you watch any of the games like after?
Well, I couldn't. I
didn't. Or before.
I couldn't. I don't think I saw some of it during where I popped my head in.
Yeah.
I was hoping to watch the tape a little bit.
Yeah.
If we can work that out, I don't know how possible that is. But I didn't. How'd your team do? How much y'all lost by 3 or y'all lost by?
We final score 62-59.
Okay, you lost by 3. Yeah, 'cause I know there was 2 teams that lost by 3, right?
Yeah. John's team 33-31.
Yeah.
They won.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get to see the game. I don't know.
But how about your game?
Your game was pretty fairly efficient.
Would you say it's fair?
Yeah. I mean, because
You saw your own game. You didn't comment about the referee's experience in your own game.
No, I said they were fine. I said I have no. I said they're doing the best they could.
What do you think, John? You think the refs were good?
Yeah, I'm never gonna complain about the refs. I think that if you're someone that gotta complain about the refs, to start bringing in your own refs, like it's probably an indication that like you're not trustworthy of like your own team. At the end of the day, you gotta always be able to take some responsibility. Sometimes I think.
Yeah.
No,
And
but
like self accountability.
But I guess what I'm saying is like people gonna be closer to the hand that feed him, right? If there's a dog in the street, you don't know the dog.
Jamie.
But no, stop. If there's a dog in the street and I always walk by the dog and feed the dog, but we always walk by and I'm the one who's feeding them, who you think the dog gonna be more friendly to? The one who's feeding them, right? It's just a simple thought process.
No, but I think that.
So my
Jamie,
point is,
we're on the same team, right?
So
We're on the same team.
So my point is that if somebody's a captain and this person is always feeding them, but they both walking by you every day and kind of greeting, but this one feed, you're gonna be partial to the people who feeding you.
So that's why.
Right? Because now if he's nice to them, now they get called back again to be refs, right?
Yeah,
I mean, so it's just a logical. So that's why I recommended that every captain pick a ref, and then we put the names in the hat and we start. That's all I said. I mean,
It's an interesting suggestion. Yeah.
It's an interesting suggestion. I just think that sometimes you gotta evaluate situations based upon the individual circumstances, and Steve is a pretty trustworthy guy. I think he's a pretty honest guy, and I think that if you're making that call, it's an indication that you don't trust Steve to be a fair commissioner to an extent.
you just trying to ignore it. Ain't nobody paying mind. Like I said, there's logical and there's emotional, and I think that was more emotional than it was logical, right?
This is actually going to a deeper point, and actually let me be the interview real quick, because I think that something that I've learned about you in this conversation is that it sounds like there's a pattern of you having a difficult time trusting people, right? Like you said, like it's difficult for me to trust my teammates sometimes. It's difficult for me to trust the referees. It's difficult for me to trust like other people. But when you do get their trust, you trust them, right? It takes a lot for you to get to that point, right? So is there a reason? Do you think there is a reason why you struggled with like initially trusting people a lot right off the bat, or is that just how you've always been?
What do you mean off the bat?
What do you mean? Or do you disagree with that statement?
No, I mean.
Do you think trust is hard for you to obtain right away for people a lot of times? Like you need people to earn that trust for you?
I think it's energy for me. I don't have to trust, because even when I was telling somebody this yesterday, when I'm interacting with people, I don't even listen to what they're saying. I listen to the energy that's given off. That's why when a lot of people talk, especially from urban communities, they say, "Do you feel me?" Right? Because people don't care what you said to them. Do you feel what I'm saying to you? Right? It's always, do you feel me? Because we need to feel the energy. Life is about energy. So for me, even when we're on the court or wherever, it's about the energy for me. So if I'm not getting any vibes from you, that's concerning to me, because that means you're not focused on what we're doing or about to do. Right. And so I need to feel something. You could anger, love, right? But I need to feel something, because now I need to know how to deal with you while we're in space around each other.
That's deep. I respect that. So what kind of energy does Zach bring onto the table? What is that energy?
Just a silent enforcer.
Silent enforcer.
Okay. That man says very little. I'll be like, "Yo, Zach, this is a game." I'm like, and he won't do it, and I'm like, "Shit, all right." Don't say nothing back, just handle it and just knock it out. And I just appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of energy does let's go to some of the captains, does Jay bring? Like what kind of energy do you feel from him?
I mean, he's gonna talk and he's gonna do it. And you gotta appreciate that. And I had a talk with Jay, because a lot of times me and Jay get into it. Mm-hmm. But I told Jay, I said, "Yo, Jay, I always talk to you because I trust you. Mm-hmm. And when you're on my team and you're not living up to the potential that I think you have,
right,
it bothers me.
Gotcha.
When I see you slacking, when I see you doing this because you have the potential to be great, mm-hmm. and I see you not being great sometimes, and I call you out, and he said, "Well, I didn't know that." He said, "I thought you were just getting on me." I said, "No, if I didn't expect more from you, I wouldn't say nothing to you.
Right.
I wouldn't say nothing to you if I didn't expect nothing from you."
Yeah.
And going back to what John was talking about today, he said, "Jamie, why'd you lose it?" I'm like, because I kept talking to people who I thought had more in them, mm-hmm. and they didn't have more in them. Mm-hmm. And if I know that there's certain people who I would never talk to, because I'm not going to expect nothing from them, right?
How about Joan as a captain? What kind of energy does he give you?
Joan don't talk enough.
Joan don't talk enough. He needs to be more vocal. What about John B?
Talk too much.
Talk too much.
He missed more. He missed more than he make.
He missed more than he make. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah. So he's a great coach on the sideline, but I think he should prove his game
on the court.
Right. He'll miss a layup or miss a shot, and then keep talking. It's like they need to see you make one, or don't shoot and be the defensive player. But you can't. It's difficult if you're not stopping the best player or you're not making shots and you're talking the most.
Right.
I don't think that's a good strategy. But again, he didn't really get to play. I'm just talking from the pickup, right? He might be a different player under the whistle. Mm-hmm. I hope he gets good enough or better, to be able to play and show what he got.
Yeah. John, are there any other captains that maybe stand out that in terms of like their leadership, their GM abilities?
I think Ethan's a really good coach.
Ethan's a good coach.
I think he made some questionable GM choices, but as far as coaching wise goes, I think he's going to extract a lot from his team, and he definitely wants to win this league.
Yeah,
he's taking it serious.
So he has James Mang on his team. Taylor, I think, was his second pick. Jeff Liu, who was supposed to join us today on the podcast. So let's talk about his team a little bit. Ethan, the Long Island City School of Dentistry.
Let's talk about that. Is one of them a dentist? Is Ethan a dentist?
No, I think Taylor...
Is that a tough question? Am I pulling teeth?
No. So I think every team had a struggle.
That was a good one.
Every team had a struggle with the team name. So I had asked all the captains before after the draft, give me like like in a 1 week's period, like end of week, please give me a team name. Jamie said Me O'Clock, which is his brand. Everyone else was crickets until like the last day where I asked everybody, like, you know, Ethan, I need a team name, or like Joan or Jay came up with the team name as well, and then John was the latest out of all of them, and John's like, shit, I don't know, like, you know, but Ethan went with a joke, like a little inside joke, with Taylor. Every time the team is discussed or announced, we have to say a really long phrase. And Long Island City School of Dentistry was that team name. I'm not sure what, you know, exactly the deeper meaning behind it is, but that's eventually. So yeah, I mean, their team is right on paper. We got Ethan, we got Dimitri, we have Jessica, Derby, Taylor, Evan, James, Jeff, and Andy. Andy K is the taller beard guy. He didn't show up week 1. So let's talk about Ethan's team. What are your thoughts on his draft overall? You think it was good, or you think it was positive, negative?
I think if Jeff can show up,
Jeff Lou.
yeah, I think he's gonna be the deciding factor for them.
What's he missing? Describe Jeff as a player, like to someone who has never seen Jeff play.
Why are you smiling? Why are you smiling?
Because y'all want to show Jeff this and ample. Look at James but nah, listen, man. I don't see many people training more than Jeff for basketball.
So like he's in the courts, he's in the gym, like you see him physically there training.
I just think it's a question of Jeff's health. If Jeff can be healthy,
yeah,
I think they're gonna do great. I don't know if Jeff is nursing an injury right now or what. It just seems like every time he plays, he holds his ankle. But I think if Jeff is healthy, I don't see outside of Jeff, the next person that trains basketball like that is Xavier. Right, and that's one of the main reasons I picked him up. I see him doing jumping drills, you know, and all these different things outside of the, you know. But Jeff is always working, but it doesn't show on the court all the time, or at least not here.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's more injury thing. But you know, I like Ethan's game. I like Taylor's game. You know, it's just a matter of who's the other player for them? I like
Evan, Derby, Dimitri, James was their first pick, James May.
Sounds like a great team, but
yeah,
like I said, you need a 6-man.
You need a 6-man, okay.
And you know, I hear 5 good players in there. The 6th is questionable, and it's Jeff. Right?
Okay.
If he can be healthy, I think you got a decent shot at least winning semis and seeing what's going on with the chip. But outside of that, if Jeff can't stay healthy, it's gone.
John, what do you think about let's talk about Jeff. Let's talk about Ethan's team. So, describe Jeff as a player. Let's start with that. Like, what are your thoughts on him? Who does he play like, or what's his play style? Let's get a profile on him.
You know, I think in general, something that a lot of people struggle with sometimes to me, the game of basketball is not just a physical game. You know, so a lot of times people just view basketball as like a physical cardio sport, conditioning based game. But I think the mental side is really important as well.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think about the game, your basketball IQ? How do you like play within a team, knowing your role? And I think that this experience for Jeff will be really good because playing on teams and seeing how he fits in, like he has a key role in this team.
Yeah.
And I wasn't there the first game, but I think he did a pretty good job. And I think that he has a chance to really do solid for his role perspective. It's just a matter of if he can understand that. And I think it's a good situation that he's on the same team with Taylor. Or Taylor and Ethan. Because they'll set him up and put him in the right positions.
Right.
So, you know, he's a talented guy.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting the most out of him.
Yeah.
The first day I ever played at JP, I played against Jeff, and I didn't know anyone at the time, obviously.
Yeah.
Jeff cooked me, I'm not gonna lie. He
Yeah.
cooked me. He played really well. So I've always felt like Jeff can be one of the best players.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of if he's able to put it all together.
Got it, for sure. Yeah, I mean, their team on paper looks pretty good. They had a blowout performance against Steve C's team. They won by at least 30, 25 or 30, so very strong performance. And that's with Ethan not even playing. So that talks a lot. I mean, I think next week we'll have to really see how they perform when they're matched up with some size and physicality. And like you said, if Jeff could put it together, that would really determine where they'll end up in the end of the season, right?
I mean, Steve, who would you say is going to win it all, or who would you think is going to be in the championship?
In the championship right now, it's really hard to tell. So, I mean, I have a couple teams that I'd say the top 4 teams for me.
No, I want the 2 you think going to be in, or 3. Let's say 3 you think going to be in the championship.
All 3 people going to be in championship games.
Just because, all right, let's say 2. Let's say 2.
So, 2, to be honest, I'm pretty confident in my team's performance. I think if we could figure things out by the end of the season, we could be a championship team. And I think Jamie, I think your team, has a lot of upside to it. If you could get some performance from your bench, and if you're able to kind of rally the troops there, I think you're gonna have a strong season with your team.
I got to get X to get some new sneakers. I think you heard me saying it, or maybe not. But
I want to put it past Jamie to buy new sneakers for X.
I was thinking about it.
I want to put it past it at all.
I was really about to, because Z quit.
Let's talk about that a little
Z
bit.
quit.
So we had a draft.
Did he quit or did he use the restroom?
No. I'm not talking about that.
So Z didn't pay his league fees. So I was going around everybody who didn't pay. I was like, yo, he just Venmoed me.
Wait, Z on your team or your team?
This Z, tall Z.
Oh, okay.
The shooter. So I talked to Z, I was like, hey Z, like, can you send me the league fee? And then he sends me this, 8 o'clock in the morning, he's like, really sorry bro, like, I'm gonna have to drop out this season, things came up, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh man, like that really sucks. Jamie picked him like at 7th or something, and you should have told me earlier before the draft if you weren't gonna pick, otherwise I would have just removed you from the pool and let everyone know, because I sent him emails, like everything around, multiple times, like, yo, you didn't pay, like.
You've done an incredible job communicating.
Yeah, I'm trying, so just, he didn't, like, he was very quiet, he didn't, like, give me any heads up. I would assume he was playing, because earlier I had talked to him, like, hey, you're playing this season, he told me yes, so he never told me, like, no. But then came time where the draft had already happened, he was already picked up, collecting payments, and he told me no, and then immediately after, I text Jamie, I'm like, Jamie, I have some bad news, Z told me this, he's not playing anymore, something came up, and then Jamie was like, Z told you this? And then 30 minutes pause, like 30 minutes happened, and then I get a text from Z 30 minutes later saying, never mind Steve, haha, Jamie called me and we had a conversation, I'm playing. So, in my head, Jamie gave him like the dad talk.
He got concerned. He was like, I need that guy on my team.
He really convinced him to stay with the season. Z Venmo'd me immediately after, like 30 minutes after.
That's so respect to that.
Yeah, so I really talked. I was really surprised, and Jamie, man, tell me what happened. What was the conversation between you and Z?
I said, Z, you know who this is.
You know who this is.
You know why I'm calling.
What'd you say? Say it again.
I said, you know who this is. You know why I'm calling. And you know what we're gonna do. Now hung up.
How did he respond to that?
Then he called too.
Oh
my
God, that's hilarious. That's incredible. With those words.
Yeah, but
inspiring.
but we got a little group chat, and he's been vocal in there.
Wow, I've never seen him talk.
Yeah, and he's been just rooting the team on, doing the best he can, and I appreciate him for that, and I appreciate him staying with us.
Yeah,
because I was really shocked to hear, but I don't think he knew who his team was. I don't think he realized like I had picked him up. Yeah, and I don't even know if he's seen the email saying, hey, these are the teams. It seemed like he was just like, I ain't playing in this, and I'm like, it's me. It's you. You know what I mean? And then things happen the way they happen.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
All right.
But see, that's the part of the communication you gotta have. You gotta let him know up front so that he's like not even quitting to begin with.
But that goes back to what we were talking about. I don't think I had all those numbers at that point. I don't think at that point Steve had even sent out the team's numbers, because he was just trying to get people to pay at that time. So he didn't send out the numbers till like that Monday. And that was a Friday or something like that. I think you sent the numbers out Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And that was like Monday, I think you had texted me that he wasn't. It was something like that.
All
So I
right.
never had Z's number.
But I thought Justin said during the game that he thought Z quit mid-game.
Well, yeah. So I don't know. Z disappeared. You know, I think he went to go eat a hot dog or go visit the car or something. I don't know where that man went.
You never addressed it? You didn't even get to the bottom of it? But what happens if you can't rely on that now?
Listen, maybe nerves got to him, butterflies in his stomach. He had to poop it out, right? Like, you know, maybe that's what happened. I was hoping he had went to go get shoelaces for X. So I was just trying to think the best, you know, I could.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, but I didn't know where he went.
All right. Well, this is a lot of great information, guys. Going into week 2, who do you guys play next week?
Don't matter.
Don't matter. It doesn't matter. Jane, who do you guys play? Oh, wait, you guys play each other. Oh, wait. That's right. You guys play each
That's
other.
why you're trying to be funny. Right
Ah, yes.
That's why you're trying to be
Yes.
funny. You're
All
trying to
right.
play,
So, what's the keys to winning this game next week against John's team? Without John B, I'm
You
assuming
think-
France will be back.
Why you say John B's not playing?
Because I think he's hurt. Like, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. He said he's out for a few weeks, so maybe
You
not.
think so?
I mean, if he comes back, all right. Let's pretend the whole
Yeah.
team's there.
Yeah.
What's the game plan? What do you need to do? What are the keys to winning against John's team here? JP Animals.
I don't.
It's not too much on it, huh? There's not too
Yeah,
much
it's
thought.
not.
You need
It's not. You know, I
easy
know.
win for you. Is that what's
I think Odie's gonna be fouling a lot.
Odie's gonna be in foul trouble?
Yeah,
Okay.
Odie just foul people and act like he ain't touching. You know what I'm saying? So I like Odie.
Uh-huh.
But I think Odie's gonna be in foul trouble. I think John's gonna be in foul trouble.
This John.
No, this John.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be in foul trouble.
So foul trouble will be the demise, the
He's gonna
downfall
miss
of
a lot.
John's team. Okay.
He's gonna miss a lot of shots.
John, what do you think? What's the game plan? Any keys to victory here for next week? Anything to focus on?
I mean, you know, I think Jamie and I have talked a little friendly trash about this entire podcast, but I'm gonna take a moment to just say some good things about Jamie because really there's nothing. At the end of the day, I respect Jamie and I think he's a good individual. We've had a lot of great conversations in the past few years. I would call him a friend. And, at the end of the day, we're gonna go out there and play competitive ass basketball. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's gonna be the most talking. It's probably gonna be the most physical game. It's probably gonna be one of those high intensity games that it's just gonna be what it is.
Be
But
physical,
We're gonna go in there
putting
and
it
play
all
great
on the
basketball.
court.
That's how Brandon basketball loved to play. I think that's the type of basketball he likes to play.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm not wishing on his downfall by any means just because we're playing a basketball game. So,
Yeah. I love this
I'm
format.
just ready to lace it up and we're gonna play and we're gonna go to war. But that's what basketball is.
This was totally unintentional. I didn't even know I didn't realize you guys were playing next week. I think I might have to keep that format. That's amazing. Just that week 2 or next week type of
Yeah, two people who
matchup.
might be going
Playing
against
each other, yeah, and just going into it and then talking about that's great. I totally unintentional. Awesome. So yeah, man, I think that wraps up everything I wanted to talk about. Do you guys have anything else you want to share?
Come on, Jamie. I just said something nice about you. Say something nice about me.
I did.
Say something nice about you.
Hold on.
Let's end the podcast
Hold
on a good
on.
note.
I said a lot of nice
Let's
things.
see why you being defensive again.
No, that's
Let's just end the
defensive.
positive podcast on a
You
good
see,
note.
you see.
Let's end the podcast on a good note, Jamie.
No. Let me reiterate because I said this earlier. I said I think John knows a lot about basketball.
That's true.
I said
He
that.
studies the
I said
game
that.
a lot, yeah.
I said they're crazy for leaving you open. You didn't hear none of those things I said the whole time.
Oh no, I'm just saying I ended the podcast just now on my end, saying some good things about you. Let's end the podcast on a good note. We don't got to end on a bad note. Let's end on a good note. Take us home, Jamie. Take us home.
Let's be in prayer now. Like he said, next week, I think it's gonna be a great game. I think they have some good players. I can't really call them a good team, right? Because I haven't seen that cohesive unit. I've seen you, right? Would you disagree, or do you agree with that? Do you think you guys are playing great team, or do you think you're playing great and maybe another player is playing great? In your honest opinion.
See, I just don't get why it's so hard for you to say a good thing from time to time.
What, that
now
wasn't good?
the ask of saying something good to close us out, it's got to turn into me talking bad about my own team. Why do I gotta do that? Why do I do that? Why is it so hard to just acknowledge someone else from time to time?
Well, I'll take that as a yes. You agree with me then, right? All right. So moving on from that, because otherwise you would say, no, we're great. Because
Because I know you. So all right. So you just say you agree with me sometimes. I just want you to say I agree, Jamie. Gosh. All right. Anyway. But nah, like you said, it's gonna be a great game. You know, I do wish for a high energy game like it could be. I do wish it was earlier because now we might be a little bit tired because it's at 9:30, right?
Okay.
But
We got the last slot.
Yeah.
Man, okay.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna be a great matchup, especially coming off of last week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know.
Should be a good one.
Yeah, but him, you know, hitting the game winner and us, you know, kind of. I don't. You can't call it redemption because what we did, it was a clean slate.
Yep.
But us coming off a win where this guy was the best player, quote unquote.
Right.
People were saying.
Proven to a lot of people. out
Yeah.
there,
So I think both teams have something to prove.
Yep.
And,
They're both. You guys are both coming off wins, right? So this is gonna be, you know,
Yeah.
one of the highlight matchups of the week. So I think it's gonna be a really good game. It's gonna come down to who wants it more.
Do you think
know?
there's any other matchup next week that's going to be big or?
I think my matchup against Ethan's team is going to be pretty big because Ethan had a blowout week 1 and we had a tough game against Jays. We took the loss, so Ethan's coming off with a win on his first week without him playing. So his team's off this like really good stride, and it'll be a real like. I feel like Steve's team wasn't the strongest, and also they were like undermanned, didn't have their whole team. Carl was injured, right? So that blowout win almost didn't really feel like a true win in my eyes, you know, without their whole team.
But you were down a man too, right? You didn't even touch on that.
That's
like,
true.
What was that like for you, being without, you know, your pick, right? I mean, I don't know how many players you were down, but like, what was that like for you being down a man?
Very unfortunate situation. We actually have the most amount of players on the team in the entire league. We have 10 players, and we only had 4 available that day.
Wait, you only had 4 people?
4 players, yeah. So we only,
including you or not?
including me, yeah. So we had to pick up a sub who was undrafted. We picked up Francis.
That's right.
Francis.
That's right.
Like this. just
Oh.
like this. Yeah.
So you played with 5 players the whole game?
Yeah, we put it 5. But we had our core. Like our core, I would say, is
So
like
Peter was
me,
there.
Josh. Peter was not there.
Oh.
Josh and Andrew. My first 2 picks.
Yeah.
Peter's a very important player. He's definitely one of the starting 5 in our others.
Yeah, if you lost by 3, you probably would definitely not lost that game with Peter and Gertrude.
They were also missing Will, who
Dude,
was their
Peter's a
first
dog.
pick.
Peter is a dog.
Absolutely, no. Peter's great.
I see
lethal
Peter
weapon.
go toe to toe against Jamie and like win sometimes, you know. So I'm like, damn.
I think they bring the
When I
same
see-
energy.
You remember that time when he
Little Peter?
Yeah, you remember that time when he argued with you like mano y mano for like 20 minutes straight?
We
You remember
shot
that
for
time?
it.
No, but I'm just saying that moment, I was like, I respect you a lot, Peter, for you even like be willing.
No, but he
do
wanted
that
to
in that
play,
situation.
and I wanted to play. But
Yeah,
you
no,
were
but like
both
you
right.
do that, like you're not expecting Peter to do that, right?
No, I
that
expect-
that
no.
was a moment where I was like,
I
I
expect-
appreciate his like.
I expect
mentality.
everybody to want to play.
And
And
but
we
not
were,
everyone's gonna do that.
no, but we were both, you know what I'm saying? So I expect if somebody in their heart believes they are right, I expect friction, right? I'm not talking to somebody in hopes I don't get friction. I'm expecting friction.
I'm not saying negatively anything towards you, but
No,
I'm just
no,
talking
I'm
about
not
in that
saying-
instance about Peter and
No,
maybe
no.
elevate my perception.
No, but I'm saying like in that instance, like we both thought we were right. Like, cause what happened that day is, I think Steve said Peter play, and then somebody else said they wanted me to play. Or I think Mo said Jamie, and so Peter was like, well, Steve said I could play, and then I said, well, Mo said I could play. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I'm like, well, what do we do now? So you know, so that's what we got.
Classic, you know, JP
Classic
conversations on the court that hold us up for 20, 30 minutes every night. But, you know, awesome stuff, guys. You know, really appreciate you guys, you know, taking the time to sit with me and chat. I had a really good time and just got to know more of what's on the mind for after recapping week 1, going into week 2. Hopefully we'll have even better turnout what we saw from week 1, right?
Yeah.
Can we ask one final question?
Yeah, final question.
I have both of you guys. Who, after for week 1, is your mind is going to be the all-star starting 5?
Ooh.
All-star starting 5.
All-star starting 5. That's
After
tough.
week 1.
I mean, I think a lot of people weren't there.
Okay. Well,
the
then
first
just
week.
evaluate based on who you think it's going to be.
I mean, for both teams, the 10 players, or
I'll
No,
go.
there's only one team. There's only one All-Star team.
well, there has to be 10 players.
No, we're playing the club's faculty.
Wait, he didn't say that.
Well, we're gonna have an
He said
all-star
that was
game.
his
That's what I thought Steve said.
He didn't say that.
I didn't fully set up the situation. I wanted to have an all-star game between a 5-on-5 team within the league.
Yeah,
But I
see
also
what I'm
wanted to
saying?
have an exhibition game with the staff. So there are plans to
Oh,
have
it's 2 games.
Yeah. So
Oh.
we're gonna schedule this after the season's over. Maybe like a weekend. Whoever can make it will make the team, right? So all-star team will be like 10. We'll have like 2 point guards, 2 shooting guards, 2 small forwards, power forwards, centers, whatever, right? And then the exhibition team is gonna be compiled from the gym staff. So Andy could play, Alan, right? And then we got JP, like the security guys at the front desk. They can play as well. They've reached out to me through
I told
email.
them to.
Yeah.
I told them to.
So they're
They
interested.
keep asking me, and I said, "Yo, you got to
Yep.
talk to Steve." They said, "Yo," I said, "Talk." I keep telling the doorman, I said, "Yo, talk to the workers that's in the gym, so y'all have enough players, so y'all so y'all combined would have enough, because everybody would be working, blah, blah, blah." And I said, then y'all could even have a team in the league, hopefully. But hopefully, once we play them, then maybe that'll open up for them to have spaces. Like,
They might match up well with you. AP might cook you that game.
he don't play defense. He's a great offensive player, but he doesn't play defense.
All-star team, I mean, from my end, I mean, I see, from my team, I see Josh and Andrew as potential all-stars. Going down the list to Ethan's team, I think James might be able to qualify as an all-star. From Steve's team, not too sure yet because they haven't had their full roster, so
Okay.
I would pick maybe John Zoo over here as a potential all-star.
Wait. You said from C. Oh, you said not C. Oh, so we're not including C. Also, John B's team. You saying John?
And then from Jamie's team, I would put Jamie and Max as potential all-stars 6. From Jones' team, no one really proved themselves to me yet from that team, so I'm gonna have to pass. And then from Jay's team, I got Jay, potentially Kenny, Mo and Will. I think 4 of those guys are in the talks for All-Star. Not saying they will be, but they'll be fighting for that
Kenny
position.
was looking good out there.
I thought Kenny was playing great.
How tall is he?
If we're talking about height, I think he's at least like 6 foot, maybe 5'10", at least 5'10".
No,
to like
he's tall.
6
He's probably
foot.
6'2".
I don't think he's 6'2".
He got long arms too.
He is long. He's
Yeah.
definitely long. And then final team from Jacob's team, I would probably recommend Sean. Even though he didn't have the best performance from week 1, we all know Sean is capable of being an all-star. So I need at least 10 players that could potentially be. If a 5-man roster, out of those 10, maybe those guys.
Jay, bring us home. What's the starting 5 All-Star? Starting 5.
Only 5?
Yeah.
Man. Like I said again, I haven't seen everybody play.
Do you want to look at the roster?
No. I would say me, Max, Sean.
Okay, that's 3. What are your guards?
I feel like
No neo guards.
yeah. I feel like Ethan has the potential.
Ethan, okay.
When he feel like playing, because sometimes he don't feel like playing. Even he ain't playing the game last time. Ethan got a lot of potential. And the 5th,
Oh, sorry, Ethan, okay.
yeah, I would say that's really gonna do that. That's really gonna be proving themselves day in and day out.
Yeah.
Maybe Jean Shu.
Okay. So John. So that's
Yeah,
5. That's your
if
starting
he
5.
can stay consistent. But I think if John B comes back soon, you're not gonna be able to have John B is gonna be shooting all those shots. He's not gonna give you the opportunity to control it the way you would prefer. It's not to say
Why we got to see again? You picking this All-Star starting 5, we got to turn into a negative thing.
That's not a negative thing. Like we said, that's not negative. He has to relinquish control to you. John G is used to running the offense.
We are just 5 here. So John, Ethan.
If you can keep it up, I think
Jamie,
you can be
Max,
the
and
top
Sean.
5 All-Star.
Who's
See,
your
I
5?
feel like if we're only picking 5, it's unfair to pick 2 players from the same team. Realistically, one player from each team is probably going to get the vote for each team to make the All-Star team. So in that
I mean,
scenario,
if you say that, like, didn't Curry and Clay play in the All-Star?
yeah, but they're not both starters. I'm talking about the starting five.
I think Clay and Curry were good enough to be.
No, that's the NBA. I'm just saying, in our league, I don't think when the vote happens that they're going to choose two players from the same team.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
We'll find
So I think it would just be tough for that to happen. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
Find out.
All right. This was good. This was good, guys.
Yeah.
This is really good. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah.
I feel like I got to know you guys more, outside the court, and I'm looking forward to week 2.
We're going to make it happen.
All right.
I just hope we're not tired out there. 9:30.
Nice.
I'm never tired. I hope you're not tired. That's the only thing. I need you to show up and actually play.
Try not to be.
So you already making excuses right now.
No,
See
it's
that?
just-
you
no,
already
it's
making
just-
excuses right now.
It's just.
It don't matter to me
it's
what
just a
time of
late
the day,
game.
Jay. We can play at 2 a.m., 6 a.m., whenever,
I think
wherever.
wants to bring us home.
All right, guys. You heard it here. Week 2. Podcast episode probably out for the next session as well. But thank you, Jamie. Thank you, John. For being here. Such a good time. Yeah. I really enjoyed this. All right. We'll do this again.
Y'all know what time it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
Show them the
Jamie.
watch. Show them the watch.
Come on.
What
What
time
time
is
is
it?
it?
Watch
What
that
time
says me on the clock. That's what time it is.
Cause it's my time, baby.
All right. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. All right.
All right. How long was that?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was 2 hours.
God damn, bro. That shit was
We talked.